He's 7th in the country in pass efficiency. 3 of those interceptions were in their only loss at Seattle against Washington. That ball is caught by the defender Marty Tabman, but out of bounds. First throw of the game by Colt Brennan. Here's the starting lineup for Hawaii, presented by XM and introduced by Vili the Warrior.
On offense, holding it down for the 808 state, number 15, Colt Brennan. And wide receivers, number 7, he's Grady. It's exciting. Devon Best. Oh, offensive line, they're nasty. Lead up front by Hercules Satele and Keith Asu.
I think they need to get him out of the mascot outfit and into a football uniform. 2nd and 10 for Brennan. Swings it out to Devon Best. And he gets about 6. Tripped up by Kyle Wilson. And already some woofing between Best and Wilson. Brennan, a senior from Irvine, California, sat out last week, except for 2 plays on the first series against Nevada after suffering a concussion here 2 weeks ago against Fresno State. He shares the touchdown pass record in the major level of college football. And his 13,000 plus yards rank him 4th all time. He's number 1 among active quarterbacks. He has a man wide open and threw it over the head of Ryan Grice-Mullen. Familiar run and shoot set of 4 wide receivers. And that pass incomplete, intended for Ryan Grice-Mullen. Marty Tabman had the coverage. Here's Quint Kesnick.
Sean, a little interesting after that Ian Johnson touchdown. Colt Brennan stands up behind the bench, grabs the ball, a bunch of wide receivers, and just starts firing, starts warming up all over again. Tossed the ball for about 5 minutes straight to try to find his rhythm. Clearly right now, he has not found it yet.
Well, these receivers and Colt Brennan will not panic. They believe in themselves and they believe in the system. The receivers are such an important part because they read the coverage on the run. And Colt reads what they read, and that's why they're so successful on the offensive side of the ball.
Brennan 1 out of 4 for his career, 70% accuracy. Devon Best gang tackled. It's another key from Coach Peterson. He said we must tackle their receivers and eliminate as much run after the catch as we can. That time Rashawn Scott did a nice job of that.
Exactly right. And not just tackle with one guy, because sometimes guys will miss open field tackles in space. But right there you saw a group of blue helmets swarming to the treasure, which is the ball.
Dallas Dobbs, the linebacker, has been hampered lately by a sprained ankle. Also in on that play. So here's another 3rd down for Hawaii. And a quick throw, a timing play, and it is caught for a 1st down by Jason Rivers. 48 straight games with at least a catch now for Jason Rivers, the senior from here in Oahu, and that's the longest active streak in the nation and the longest in the history of the WAC.
And what a way to catch it. They threw a nice little fade stop. Colt Brennan aims for the back shoulder of the DB's on top. And you see, they'll read it. The DB's on top like he is. They'll throw it behind. Virtually impossible to defend by Skandrick.
Orlando Skandrick is a good corner. Brennan with all day to throw, and he's going deep, throwing into double coverage, and it is caught. The receiver won the battle. C.J. Hawthorne, the converted defensive back, beat Jason Robinson and Rashawn Scott. There is a flag thrown well behind the line of scrimmage. If it stands, it's a 42-yarder, and it's going to be against Boise State.
Get extra yards. Roughing the passer, that will be added to the yard. But great job of C.J. Hawthorne adjusting to the ball. Defensive backs got to read the receiver's eyes. If he stops, you stop. Turn and adjust and play the football. And you see the roughing right there. It's a little ticky-tack for me, but what isn't? Right here, C.J. going up and making a play. Getting high in the sky.
Joe Buzikovic called for a late hit. Hawthorne, the fastest of their 4 starting wide receivers. Played cornerback last year. June Jones said because they needed him over there. But he's been a boost to their offense. 48 catches entering today's action. 1st and goal. Brennan, corner in the end zone. Juggling catch. Touchdown. Ryan Grice Mullen. I wonder if they'll review it. Looked like he might have been juggling it as he went across the sideline with Wilson and Tadman in coverage.
See it right here. Best low. Grice Mullen high. There's the ball.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know.
I think he came down. Let's see. There's the catch. The right foot looked like, the right foot looked like it was down. Chris Long play. You're in for a treat.
Great defensive lineman, son of Howie Long, a certain early first-round pick. Ryan Grice Mullen wide open and out to the 33-yard line. They got out of the hole in a hurry on a 29-yard strike thrown by Colt Brennan.
You know, Colt gets criticized a little bit by those who don't see him play every week and don't watch the film. I'm telling you, he's the most accurate passer in college football. There's a throw that he can't make, and I realize he's a system guy. He realizes he's a system guy, but guess what? You still have to deliver the ball with some velocity and on target, and he does.
June Jones played quarterback in the NFL, coached quarterbacks, was a head coach in the NFL, and he compares Brennan's accuracy to Dan Marino and Jeff George. Here's Jason Rivers cutting across the field. He paid the price for his 8-yard gain. Nick Schleckaway sent him Schleckaway to the turf.
I mean, if you're going to run close and you're playing against a hustling hoss like Schleckaway, I mean, Big Schleckaway is not going to run that far and not hit something.
And wow, just how you're supposed to do it. Brought that cast. It looked like he brought the cast as an extra little weapon to help bring him down. Not a way to play, Nick. Way to run.
Local guy from the Boise area. 3-year starter. Graduated from Eagle High School. #1 in his class with a perfect 4.0 grade point average. Just like Chris Spielman. 2nd and 2. Brennan on target again. First down out to the 49-yard line to Jason Rivers, who missed some practice time this week with a headache. He took a shot last week at Nevada and did not practice a couple of days ago. Brandon Thompson took him out of bounds.
We were at practice yesterday morning, and we're watching the receivers. They have all quarterbacks in their warm-up drills. Everybody runs their routes, and all the quarterbacks throw the ball. That ball does not hit the ground, no matter who the quarterback is or who the receiver is. And that's the standard that June has set for his receivers and quarterbacks. Perfection, and they're pretty close to it.
Final seconds of the opening quarter. 1st and 10 Hawaii from its own 49-yard line. The winner wins the WAC title outright. Jason Rivers battling at 6'2", 189 pounds for Boise State. 1st and 10 Hawaii. Quick little hitter to C.J. Hawthorne. He can fly. Upended and down at the 1. Orlando Scandrick came off his man in the end zone and ran out just outside the goal line to save the touchdown. 23 yards, 1st and goal, Hawaii.
You might ask yourself why Scandrick was so late coming off, because what they're doing is they're playing zone to the 3 receiver side and manning up the backside. Once C.J. Hawthorne gets to the man side, Scandrick is still trying to take Rivers and allows Hawthorne to get to the 2. But speed kills.
Boise State does historically play more man-to-man defense against Hawaii than most of the teams the Warriors play.
When they're in a 3-1 look, 3 receivers to one side, 1 receiver to the other, they will zone the 3 receiver side and put Scandrick and lock him out on Rivers man-to-man. That's why he was so late coming to help on the pursuit of the tackle.
We're going to review the play. Was it a touchdown? He extended the ball. Did he get it across the plane before his elbow went down?
And remember, and we all know this, but the ball just has to break the plane in the air. It's going to be a close call.
Well, his right, his hands on the ground. Tough to tell.
Great effort. You can see the Hawaii kids are playing for something.
Elbow down. I don't think the ball was across.
I think it was a good
just
spot.
Shy,
yeah.
But I think they're going to leave it where it is, just shy of the end zone.
Even the replay officials have the aloha spirit.
Yeah. Michael Goshima, the replay official. Philip Akana, the communicator. And now the referee, Gerald Wright.
After review, video confirmed the ruling on the field. First down.
Yep, but not a touchdown, just short. This is a crew made up of officials from the Big 12, Mountain West, and WAC. These three conferences form one officiating crew, pooling officials from each. And I hope it's the trend. No longer we hear, well, in the non-conference game, these are WAC officials, or these are Big East officials. They'd like to see a collective effort. Brennan keeps and scores. Touchdown, Hawaii. Averaging 360 per game, but he played only 2 plays last week. That brought his average way down. He was over 400 before last week. Ryan Grice-Mullen, the intended receiver. Austin Smith was closing quickly. And it'll be second down and 10. 402 per game prior to just the 2 plays last week. What a job Tyler Gronke did. The backup threw for 358 yards on 33 out of 46 to lead them to the win at Nevada. Against a very good Wolfpack team. And he took them in the final 2 minutes and 16 seconds from deep in their own territory to field goal range to set up the winning kick by Dan Kelly. Brennan throws. C.J. Hawthorne chopped down to the 41 by Jason Robinson. True freshman safety from Los Angeles out of Dominguez High School, where he was a linebacker last year.
Here's what Boise's doing. They're doing a good job of it. When they're balanced and have 2 wide receivers to each side, they're playing a zone. When they go a 3-1 look, they will play zone to the 3 receiver side and 1 to the back side. Hawaii's starting to recognize that. June Jones wish they'd play zone all game. They feel like they can pick them apart, but here in 3rd and short, they're going to man up and go athlete for athlete.
Running back is Kealoha Polaris, a freshman. He stayed in the block, and it's a first down to the 49-yard line to Ryan Grice-Mullen. He's a junior from Rialto, California. 8 yards and a first down.
Excellent read by Colt Brennan. Again, there's not too many things that this offense has not seen that they don't know how to attack. And if it's something new or unique, believe me, the man on the sidelines, June Jones, will have an answer in a heartbeat.
June Jones, one of 14 head coaches at this level of college football, who doubles as offensive coordinator and calls the plays. David Farmer is the running back. He stays in the block, and Brennan just did get it off, and it's incomplete. Broken up by Dallas Dobbs. Intended for Devon Bess. Well, it's quite a trio of receivers with whom Brennan has to work and with whom he's worked for a while. Combined entering today's game, Bess, Grice-Mullen, and Rivers, 739 catches for over 10,000 yards and 105 receiving touchdowns.
That's just a mind-boggling number to think how productive this unit has been, and the fact that they've stayed healthy, because they do take shots.
There are 7 active receivers in the country with 3,000 receiving yards. Hawaii has 3 of the 7. Brennan throws, and the yardage total grows for Rivers. He goes to the 37-yard line. Standrick and Robinson made the tackle, a 14-yard gain.
Starts up front with the protection, and Colt Brennan does a great job of pocket presence. This is what the NFL guys are going to look at, is pocket presence, where he'll move around, find the throwing lane, and you see Rivers not settling down. He has Ging coming over there, and he just scoots inside Ging. And Colt Brennan has the patience and the trust in his offensive lineman to wait for Rivers to go to the middle of the field, and he delivers on time.
Under 7 minutes to go. The shovel pass to the freshman Polaris. He's missed the last couple of weeks with a bad knee. He looked fully healthy there. Austin Smith made the tackle. Polaris didn't make the trip to Reno last week. as he rehabbed the knee. His parents still went on the trip. He said they had a great time cheering for my team, even though I didn't play.
Well, it's a nice call by June Jones. I mean, that's the first real run that they've had. I know it goes down as an attempt, but basically an inside run. And when you have Boise pinning the ears back, coming for pass rush, it's a nice little changeup to slow him down a little bit.
13 yards on that completion. Pillar is battling a sprained right MCL. He practiced with a brace during the week, but has taken it off for the game. Hawthorne retreated, cost himself a couple of yards. Went almost back to the line of scrimmage. A gain of 1. Austin Smith having a nice game at safety. The senior from San Bernardino, California, made the tackle.
You have a big play mentality like these wide receivers. Sometimes they make poor decisions. Right there, CJ. You got it at 5. Turn around and get 7. Don't worry about going the distance. Turn around and get 7.
This has been an important possession for Hawaii for no other reason, even if they don't score, and they are at least in field goal range, that they are keeping their defense off the field for a prolonged period of time, and they needed the rest. 2nd down 9. Hawaii on the move, down by a point. Under 6 minutes to go in the half. There's a strike by Brennan inside the 5. Touchdown, Devon Bess.
Kyle Gang can't hang. Right there, he's playing zone. Nothing in front. You got to continue to get depth. And they're just picking them apart between that level of the linebackers and the safeties. Then you have a tough guy coming off the concussion, have people in his face, yet delivers a strike, and Devon Bess.
Their last 47 WAC games. Colt Brennan on 1st down from his own 3. Throws it out of the end zone to Devon Bess, who's out of bounds. Marked out at the 6, just beyond the 6, chased out by Austin Smith. That touchdown pass, Brennan to Bess, was the 38th time that they have connected. And that is one shy of the Division 1A record of 39 touchdown passes. Tim Rattay to Troy Edwards for Louisiana Tech. So pretty soon Colt Brennan's going to have his name on another record.
Yeah, and working and being around these receivers all week, nobody complains about getting the football. Colt doesn't care. He's throwing to the open guy, and these guys bury their egos for the good of the team.
Brennan under duress and just did get out of the end zone as Dallas Dobbs sacked him. First sack for Boise State, and like Hawaii, that's a staple of their defense. The Broncos are 20th in the nation at just under 3 sacks per game.
Yeah, he also dropped the football, and he landed right on it. Here comes Dobbs off the corner, beating Austin inside. Good job of closing. You see the ball shoot out of there. Great awareness by Colt to reach out and get it. Would have been a devastating turnover, but this is where the Bronco defense has to step up. They've had him pinned back before, and they couldn't keep him pinned to create field position for the O.
3rd down and 11. Out of the end zone again, and look out from behind. Brennan, is that a pass? Yes, incomplete pass. Ryan Winterswyk hit Brennan just as
behind the line of scrimmage, so Dallas can go ahead and hit the receiver before it was caught.
Dobbs had a nice game. A low snap. Under a minute to go now in the half. Hawaii with all 3 timeouts. Devon Bess runs out of bounds at the 31. A gain of 6. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Austin Smith chased him across the sideline. Big game for a lot of the reasons we mentioned, and a big game for June Jones. His contract is up at the end of this year. He said he would prefer to stay here, but he never says never. That even if he should leave someday as the coach, this will always be home.
Well, he's deserving of a new contract, and they're deserving of some new facilities. What a BCS game certainly helped that.
Jason Rivers the catch. 1st down, a 3rd down conversion for Hawaii to the 43-yard line. 12 yards on the play. The clock stopped to move the chain, so June will not use the first of his timeouts.
You know, different page, same book, Sean. Where they hitting him? Right in between the soft spot between the safeties and linebackers, because linebackers are getting nosy.
Brennan is sacked by Dallas Dobbs and Ryan Winterswyk, who are well acquainted with Brennan now.
Yeah.
2nd sack, but there's been plenty of pressure by the Broncos defense. Just the 23rd time This year that Brennan's been sacked, they average giving up only 2 sacks per game, and they've thrown it over 500 times this year.
Well, a little bit of that is on Colt Brennan.
2 touchdowns and 1 interception in the first half. He goes out of the shotgun, and it's a shovel pass to Kealoha Polaris, former Hawaii High School State Player of the Year. Originally accepted an appointment to the Air Force Academy, but was not there for very long. Decided he didn't want to go to Colorado Springs. Came home here to play for the Warriors.
That shovel pass is designed, as Quint mentioned, the pressure that Boise's been bringing. Hopefully, if you run a shovel pass, if you're Hawaii, that will slow down the pressure from the front 4 of the Broncos, who are bringing it every single play.
3-yard gain on the shovel to Polaris. Hawaii leads 19-17. The opening minute of the second half. Oh, that run after the catch by Devon Bess. First down and more. Out to the 44-yard line, a gain of 11.
Did a little Ricky Bobby shake and bake on him right there. A little Talladega Nights. Dallas Dobbs has him in sight. And here comes the shake with the bait. Again, this is what he does best, run after catch. June Jones compared him to a stronger Andre Badmoud-Rison.
Yards after the catch up to 110 for Hawaii. Chris Peterson won't be happy with that number. He felt it was a key to the game. Tackle those receivers after the catch. You know they're going to get their catches. Devon Bess gets another one to the 41-yard line of Boise State. Marty Tadman, the All-American candidate safety, made the stop. He's their leading tackler for the year. Out of Mission Viejo, California. Now a senior. Young man who talks quite candidly about his battle with drugs and alcohol about 3.5 years ago. And totally changed his life. Is now a preacher. And is going to devote his life to the ministry when his football days are over. He'd first like to play in the NFL.
He's a good, solid football player, a smart football player.
Another quick throw and catch, and it's Jason Rivers down the far sideline, tackled by Austin Smith. But Hawaii impressively on the move to begin the second half. They're quickly at the Boise State 25-yard line.
Yeah, with time, he's dangerous. I mean, and Colt Brennan, again, I want to make this point because I made it in the first half, and I want to make it to those that are watching in the second half. You can say system quarterback, non-system quarterback. I'm here to tell you from my point of view, nobody's as good as he is that I've seen in the country because he's accurate, he's on time, and that ball is delivered with velocity.
And a very quick release. Ryan Grice Mullen takes all he can get and goes out at the 22-yard line. Here's Quint.
John, I called Mel Kiper early this morning, and he's like a cup of coffee with his energy, talking about Colt Brennan. Said he loves his quick release. It's a little sidearm, accurate, has the NFL arm. Question marks are that he is a system quarterback. He says there have been run and shoot guys in the past who haven't fared well in the NFL. David Klingler, Tim Couch, and the big question mark, he said last week when Tyler Gronke played, he put up big stats, and it's a tricky evaluation. He thinks that the all-star games and the combine will make the difference for Colt Brennan. Right now he has him as the 7th-rated senior QB.
All right, Quint, thank you. He swings it out the left flat to Devon Bess. Run after the catch. Leap into the end zone. Touchdown. Brandon Thompson, true freshman cornerback from Elk Grove, California, number 38, is out there for Boise State. And Colt Brennan under duress takes off. And Dallas Dobbs, another nice play. His interception just set up the field goal that put Boise State back on top. But give that Hawaii defense credit. After the Brennan interception, Boise State gained only 3 yards, had to settle for the 36-yard field goal.
And they've also substituted true freshman Daryl Acree in the ball game, maybe to get a little bit more speed. You remember Ging was having a little bit of trouble getting depth in his drops. Acree brings a little bit more speed, and Dallas Dobbs has a beat right now on what Hawaii's trying to do offensively.
Brennan dumps it off incomplete. A little too far ahead of Devon Bess. Well, for much of this season, WAC Commissioner Carl Benson and these two programs have been a bit frustrated by the lack of movement up in the rankings, despite the wins week after week. June Jones and these Warriors lingering right around 15th in the BCS, which is where they are now. 13th in the coaches poll, 14 in AP. Boise State is 19th in the BCS, and the big question a lot of the voters have, how good are they, because they haven't played strong schedules. Matter of fact, these two teams have the two weakest schedules in the ratings in the country. Boise State 118th, Hawaii 119th in strength of schedule. Rivers on third down converts. Darrell Acree made the tackle. But I think when you watch this game, Chris, you see the speed, the athleticism, the talent, and you see two good teams against each other, you realize they are very good. All they can do is beat who they play, and that's what they've done. They are collectively 21-1.
Yeah, I look at these two teams, Sean, and they can beat anybody any given week. That's not a doubt. With the problem also with the weak schedule, what hurts them, besides Boise, Hawaii, and Fresno's on their way back, the rest of the WAC conference is not very good. Not very good at all. And that kills them. And their reputation.
Decent.
Yeah.
Louisiana Tech's had a very nice year under Derek Dooley, their new coach. Devon Best the catch. The ball to the 38-yard line. But I think when you see Boise State go to a Fiesta Bowl and win against Oklahoma last year, if Hawaii runs the table, to me, they should get the opportunity to play in a BCS bowl game, particularly now where there's all these 1- and 2-loss teams all over the place who haven't done anything to make the point that they're significantly better than Hawaii.
You make a great point. And when you have talent, and we see a lot of players every single week. I watch tons of college football, and you made a great point about talent on both sides of the ball for Boise and Hawaii.
Brennan retreating, now finds a running lane and slides down at the 33-yard line. Of course, if Hawaii can finish in the top 12 in the BCS standings, they are guaranteed a spot in the BCS Bowl. Right now they're 15th. Or if they can finish in the top 16 in the BCS and finish ahead of one BCS conference champion, they'll get a spot in a BCS Bowl. So they have to hope for things like Connecticut to beat West Virginia, and then maybe not be in the top 16 in the final BCS Bowl. Connecticut's 20 right now, but if they beat West Virginia, they're probably going to move up.
Yeah. And that or Ohio State getting in the national championship game, which will eliminate a Big Ten team from the BCS Bowl.
You continue to pound that drum, and it is more realistic with the results. LSU losing today. Jason Rivers tackled by Ellis Powers. So here's the traffic right around 15th ranked Hawaii as we look at the all-state ESPNU BCS standings. Boston College has Miami left, and then the ACC championship game. Hawaii should jump over Texas after their loss at A&M today, so that would move them at least to 14th, you'd think. But a lot of times Hawaii wins and they drop.
Yeah, Boise won and dropped last week. Tennessee jumped them. I mean, they're two good football teams, and all you got to do is watch the film and compare it to other films. Athletes and players on both sides.
And Tennessee needed a last-second field goal to beat Vanderbilt, and still left over Boise State. Ryan Grice Mullen down to the 11-yard line in this back-and-forth affair. Hawaii in position to reclaim the lead. 11-yard gain. Ellis Powers made another tackle. Backup linebacker who can also play in the secondary, junior from Lakewood, California.
Yeah, he seems to be hurt bad. I mean, I saw his players, and I don't know if they're overreacting because of the emotion, but they were waving emphatically for the trainers to get on to the field. But besides the fact that he got hurt, it was, again, receivers helping receivers. You have Devon Best springing Grice Mullen for the big run. I don't know if he got a shot to the ribs. He got a knee to the chops and nose. I think he's okay as far as the ribs go, but you'll see the knee come through late right here. Take his face mask off and rubbed his nose and chops pretty good. I'm right in the chicklets.
Grice Mullen heads off after his 5th catch for 55 yards. The other two with that amazing trio, both over 100 yards. Good to see Ryan running off. Best 9 catches, 111 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Rivers 9 catches for 104 yards. Meaning as a trio, they now have 49 career games combined of 100 or more yards receiving.
They've all thrown blocks for each other tonight. Key blocks.
June Jones thinks they'll all play in the NFL. 4:10 to go third quarter. Colt Brennan. Fastball low and away. Intended for Malcolm Lane. It'll be 2nd and 10. June Jones survived a near fatal car crash in February of 2001. Says, I'm still sore every day when I get out of bed. Early on a weekday morning, ran into a abutment here in the Honolulu area. And the folks who witnessed the crash behind him, EMTs who responded, were amazed he was alive. And if you see pictures of the car, it is amazing if he's alive. Serious internal injuries. Brennan throws, caught by Jason Rivers. And when you go through an experience like that, you appreciate even more moments such as these. Chance to lead a school in a state he loves. In one of the proudest moments in the history of athletics in this state. They love their Warriors here in Hawaii. And this is a chance to have their proudest moment ever as a program.
Sean, I had the good fortune to come over here, be a part of a football game, and the people of Hawaii are passionate about the great game of football, and it's shown here tonight.
3rd down and 5. They can get a first down at the 2. Brennan throws quickly, and it is caught! Touchdown! Jason Rivers with Kyle Wilson, a starting cornerback, draped all over him.
Well, it pays to have strong hands. Again, they go the fade stop. Kyle Wilson, pretty darn good coverage, but it's trust between Rivers and Brennan. And watch what I talk about, the strong hands. Watch Kyle Wilson's hand go up and try to play the hands of Rivers, but his arm strength is able to secure the ball. Once he secures it with 2 hands, he puts it in 1 hand to get it out of the reach in the probing hands of Kyle Wilson.
31st career touchdown for Rivers. Hawaii will go for 2. They've had 2 extra points blocked. They'll go for 2. Try to make it a 7-point game. That's not a clear-cut decision in this situation with this much time left. And given the extra point problems, why not? Brennan back of the end zone, incomplete. Looking for Devon. Brennan out of the gun. Shovel pass. Kealoha Polaris, the freshman, on the move across the 30 and out to the 34. Tackled by Brandon Thompson and Jason Robinson, 2 players who ordinarily be backups in the secondary, but out there now due to injury.
This is what Boise has to do. Coach Wilcox on the defensive side. Anytime you're getting aggressive, understand on 1st and 2nd down, you have to have your inside people power rush and look for the shovel pass. That's how they set you up and slow you down the rest of the drive, is run the shovel.
Justin Wilcox, youthful defensive coordinator. Both coordinators are 30 years old on Chris Peterson's staff. Wilcox, a fine player at Oregon. Brian Harsin, the offensive coordinator, is 30. And that ball a little too high for Jason Rivers. 59 seconds to go. 3rd quarter. Pulsating action here at Aloha Stadium with the WAC Conference Championship on the line. These 2 teams both 7-0 in conference play. And this is the conference finale for both teams. The last regular season game for Boise State. They come in at 10-1. Hawaii's 10-0. They'll play Washington to close out the regular season next weekend here.
Schleckaway was hanging on Colt Brennan's legs, did not allow him to follow through, which caused the overthrow. Schleckaway's been a force all night.
Brennan throws, caught, plenty of room. Devon Bess hurdled one would-be tackler who was diving at his legs and went all the way to the 34 of the Broncos. Jason Robinson finally got on the ground, but that's a 28-yard catch and run by Devon Bess.
There's a great athletic move by Devon Bess. Kyle Wilson, I'll tell you what, come up and make a play. Grab your arms. Don't go down there and tackle ground-up rubber. Keep your feet, grab your arms, and see what your target is. And Bess got that little shake and bake on him. I'm telling you, he's got a little shimmy to him and power.
149 yards receiving on 11 catches. 2 touchdowns for Bess. Runs a 4.4 40 at 5'10", 190 pounds. Brennan forced to step up, wings it deep, man behind the defense. Touchdown, C.J. Hawthorne.
What do we talk about, Sean? Scandrick's out of the ball game, right? You got true freshman Thompson right there. CJ on a nice little move, takes him inside. Colt Brennan throws away from the coverage and throws.
Hawaii a 12-point lead and the ball. From their own 24, 1st and 10. Colt Brennan zips another strike to Devon Bess. Good for a 7-yard gain.
Where the Boise defense has to rise up and play like the champions that they are, but they're limited a little bit. Remember, they're down 3 defensive backs. Now, normally you can cover for that if you're playing against a normal offense, but here you're playing against 4 wides and they're throwing the ball every single down. It puts a lot of pressure on those cover guys.
One of the criticisms of this run and shoot offense has been time of possession. June Jones said when the Houston Oilers ran it in the NFL one year, they led the NFL in time of possession. Polaris stayed in bounds, got the first down. Ryan Winterswijk made the tackle. Hawaii this year has averaged just 27 minutes and 30 seconds of possession time. They're going to lose the possession battle here today, but when you're leading the nation in scoring, that's kind of a meaningless stat.
Well, it is, and Coach McMackin understands that. He's worked for coaches who throw the ball. He knows the drill, so he works on turnovers, getting off the field on 3rd down. June said in our meeting, hey, if the defense complains, tell them to get off the field. Stop them.
Hawaii has led the WAC in passing offense and been in the top 5 in the country in each of June Jones's 8 previous seasons. It'll make it 9 in a row this year. When all is said and done, Kealoha Polaris tackled by Kyle Ging. And actually a designed run. What do you know?
Second one tonight.
Officially credited with 8 running plays, and that was the 9th. And here are the numbers in recent years. These 2 teams have been right near the top in total offense nationwide.
Of course, Boise State does it with such great balance. Hawaii does it with their unique but dangerous offense.
Yeah, Hawaii's 2nd in passing in the country behind Texas Tech, 115th in rushing, whereas Boise State is 17th in passing, 23rd in rushing, much more balanced. But right now it's the pass happy Warriors who have the lead. Jason Rivers tackled by Brandon Thompson. Well, that's good for another 7, another first down across midfield to the Broncos 49.
Yeah, you can see June Jones right there. He and Colt Brennan are in the zone and in sync with each other. And June, out of the blue, calling 2 run plays. You run the quick hitch over here to Rivers, which is basically a toss sweep.
Brennan, a veteran quarterback, letting the play clock run down under 10 seconds. Could have taken even more time. Zips one deep, and it is behind his intended receiver. Good coverage on the play by Kyle Wilson, running basically step for step with Jason Rivers. And here's Quint Kesnick.
Sean, there's a lot of different ways to signal plays in your quarterback. With June Jones and Colt Brennan, it's really about reading lips. I mean, Colt Brennan comes over to about 15 yards. Here he is. Looking at June Jones. He can't hear him. There's no way he can hear him. Let me tell you, it's still loud right now with these Hawaii fans sitting down. And he reads his lips, goes back into the huddle, and makes the call. It's pretty amazing.
Well, when you talk about communication and being in sync with each other, these guys spend so much time together. June is right there with Colt in the film room, on the practice field. They know what each other like and what each other want.
They're already spending time looking at things that Brennan will be dealing with as an NFL quarterback that he might not necessarily see in a game for Hawaii. June Jones, in addition to preparing to play in these games, also trying to prepare him for life at the next level. Devon Bess the catch. He stayed in bounds. The clock will run under 11 minutes by the time they snap it again. And this is the reason why Brennan decided to stay in school. He came very close to going into the NFL draft after his junior season of a year ago, after leading the nation in total offense, touchdown passes, pass efficiency, completion percentage, passing yards, and yards per game. But he felt there was more to do here in Hawaii, a place that has become home to him. They're on the verge of accomplishing some of those goals if they can finish the job. On 3rd and 2, Best did stay beyond that yellow line, nearly retreated and gave up the first down. Well, here is a surgical, time-eating drive being engineered by the run and shoot offense. Well, June Jones has said a number of times, if the Warriors go undefeated, he thinks they will be invited to a BCS game, and he thinks Colt Brennan will win the Heisman, because he said for us to win these last couple of games against Boise State and Washington, Brennan will have to play at a Heisman Trophy winning level.
Well, he's playing at that right now tonight with the numbers that he's putting up with 481 yards and 5 touchdowns. But I think him missing basically 3 games is going to hurt his chances.
Maybe in another year, but in a year like this where nobody has stepped forward, he's having a chance for some Heisman moments. And that was a pretty nifty 3-yard scramble, and he got down in bounds. Dallas Dobbs, the tackle. There's an injured Boise State Bronco back at the 47-yard line. I can't remember a season that has been this wide open in terms of the Heisman Trophy at this juncture late in the year.
Yeah, and Dennis Dixon, to me, was the clear-cut front runner and had that horrible injury against Arizona with the ACL. Tough loss. You hate to see that happen to that young man. Pat White at one time was out of it. Pat White has really picked up his game and has West Virginia in the hunt for the national championship and the Big East championship. Darren McFadden went off today against the #1 team in the land, against LSU.
All year long on ESPN.com, a panel of experts been engaging in balloting each week. Tim Tebow leads right now. But both Chase Daniel and Todd Reesing have a great chance to make a case tomorrow, with a lot of attention on them. Colt Brennan with his opportunity here on national TV tonight, and certainly Darren McFadden helping to key that Arkansas win today is going to jump up as well.
And Tim Tebow, I don't want it to go unmentioned what he's been able to do. The only player in the history of college football to throw for 20 and rush for 20. That's an amazing stat.
So it's supposed to go to the best player. And in my opinion, the best player is Darren McFadden.
Well, I think the NFL draft will confirm your opinion right there. He is certainly the best player, and what Adrian Peterson has been able to do, I think, brings new value to that type of game-breaking back.
Mike T. Williams walked off the field under his own power. 9:40 to go, the clock running. Hawaii leading 39-27. The winner wins the outright WAC Conference Championship and stays alive with an eye toward a possible BCS bowl bid. Hawaii, should it win, would be 11-0 for the first time in school history. Winners of 12 in a row, dating back to their bowl win over Arizona State here last year. Yaloa Pilares carried and Ian Smart tackled him. And it'll be 3rd down and about 5. And undoubtedly, Hawaii, should they win this game, will pick up supporters in the polls.
I would think so. And you know they're watching tonight for that very reason, to see what Hawaii's made of. This 3rd down, you're either going to go to Rivers right here, who's all alone on the single receiver side, working one-on-one against Kyle Wesson, or it's been Best Time, who's in the slot. But that,
yes, the run and shoot can be ball control. This drive more than 4 minutes. 4th down and 5. Brennan sacked. Big play by the Boise State defense to get the ball back on down. David Farmer, their power running back in their running back rotation. Those guys can get a little bit lonely. They don't get the ball very often in the run game. Dallas Dobbs made the tackle, but it's an 8-yard gain. Greg McMackin conferring with some of his defenders, but you can see on the looks on those faces, they are starting to sense it.
they are, again, the fresh bodies. Finoti making a play, but Kune's been in there all night. Elimimian are doing hustle plays. Again, Boise needs to stop. Champions die hard. They're going to keep playing till the very end.
The crowd chanting BCS. Farmer again. Oh, and a big tackle by Mike T. Williams, who looked off a moment ago. Looked like a certain first down for Farmer, but he got him on the field apparently short of the first down. It looks like they might measure with the ball just across the 45-yard line, but clearly he's short.
Polaris was in there. That ball was out for at least a double-digit gain. Farmer not quite the speed, but the reason he's in there is because eventually they're going to start slinging a rock. And he's done an excellent job in pass protection.
Well, he's won 11 straight games, matching the school record set back in 1980-81 when Dick Tomey was the coach. They've won 14 straight WAC games. The school record, their last conference loss was at Boise State last year. In September, they won their last 7 WAC games last season, their first 7 this year to set up the matchup of 2 7-0 conference teams, completing the conference season with the title on the line. Kansas shares the longest active winning streak in the country. They're short.
They sneak right here behind the resident tough guy, John Estes. Physical presence at center. Colt Brennan, even though he has those skinny legs, they do have some power.
Last loss for Hawaii overall was in their final regular season game here last season, the 3-point loss to Oregon State, 35-32 on December 2nd last year. Third down, less than a yard. Boise State defenders right over the ball, anticipating a quarterback sneak from Brennan. He suffered a concussion 2 weeks ago. He spins and he appeared to get it. He did. It'll be a first down, a fresh set of downs, and the clock will run under 5 minutes before they have to snap it again. Boise State has all 3 timeouts left.
Good job by Colt getting the second effort and spinning, but the fact that he kept 2 hands on the football, understanding that the Bronco defenders are going to come in there and start raking at the ball to try to pop it out of there.
Here's Quint Kesnick.
Sean, Coach Jones just re-emphasizing to Colt Brennan, pointing to the play clock, saying, hey, let it run down under 10 or under 5. Let's milk this clock for all it's worth. The last 2 times Brennan has come over to the sideline.
Perhaps now less than 5 minutes away from their first ever outright WAC championship in 29 years in the conference, and ending a dynastic run of 5 straight titles by Boise State.
They have it their shot.
Yeah, the voters have to respect the resume of Boise State and acknowledge that this is an impressive win for Hawaii if it stays in the win column. Kealoha Polaris, the freshman, smart enough to go down in bounds. Marty Tadman made the tackle. First down at the 34-yard line.
You know why I know this is a team? Because his receivers, they block. And they block on the perimeter, and they block for each other, and they block for their buddies. They go as hard in blocking as they do with run after catches.
Brennan took the snap at 2. Short pass to Bess. And he's had a career night. That is his 15th catch. A single game high. He continues to add to an incredible resume. Another first down. 15 catches, 181 yards for Navon Bess, and 2 touchdowns. 181 yards, also a single game high for the junior from Oakland, California. Under 4 minutes to go. Polaris to the 14-yard line. The Warriors lead by 12. Trying to remain undefeated for the year and go to 11-0. In addition to winning the WAC title, Kealoha Polaris carries. And the clock will run under 3 minutes. We're joined by Carl Benson, the outstanding commissioner of the WAC. Well, last year he had a great story. Boise State wound up the only undefeated team in the country at the end of the year and won the Fiesta Bowl. What do you think of your chances of getting Hawaii into a BCS Bowl game if this score stands?
Sean, we've said all along that a 12-0 undefeated Hawaii WAC champion certainly should have an opportunity to play. I believe in the system. I think the system will prove itself.
You feel they've made quite a statement? We've been talking all night long. This is a good opponent they're playing.
It really is. I think this validates the season that they've had thus far, and hope that the polls will respect that.
Is it frustrating for you? We've talked about Michigan State opted out of a game in Hawaii. Texas in recent years has opted out. Hawaii's being penalized, it seems, for what's the weak schedule. At least the perception of it's a weak schedule. But yet all they can do is beat who they beat. And you made the point, they've won 3 games the last 3 weeks against good opponents, and yet they've dropped in some of the polls. You were quoted in USA Today the other day saying you were terribly disappointed by that development.
Well, surprised and disappointed, but again, the polls are volatile and they change from week to week. And I hope come Sunday that again the polls will recognize what they did here tonight.
How much does it hurt where the bottom half of the WAC isn't as strong as you would like it to be from a national perception?
Chris, I think that's valid, and we need to get better in the bottom half of the league. But the top half right now, especially with Boise State and Hawaii, Fresno State coming on, Nevada, we've got 4 or 5 very, very outstanding football teams in the WAC this year.
Third down upcoming here for Hawaii. 2:42 to go. And Boise State has used its last timeout. It'll be second down actually in 6. Well, you've been making the case very eloquently, and I read in the paper that you've actually used the services of a consultant. You've done a great job yourself getting the message out, but you wanted some help to make sure that your teams get a fair shake in the national eye.
We just wanted to make sure that we did everything we could to promote Boise State, promote Hawaii, and promote 2 outstanding players in Colt Brennan and Ian Johnson.
What I hope that the voters or the decision makers watch this game tonight like they're obligated to and see what kind of product was put out in the field this evening.
It's the type of game that I think we talked about and expected, a war out there between 2 very, very good football teams that deserve consideration for the BCS.
Second and 6. Polaris about 2 yards short of a first down, but now Boise State cannot stop the clock. Any more convincing you want to do while we have you here?
No, again, the BCS system was very, very good to the WAC a year ago with Boise State, and hope that Hawaii can finish next week against Washington and represent the WAC again, just like Boise State did a year ago.
And we should not put the cart ahead of the horse. Obviously, Hawaii needs to beat Washington, or it's going to be a moot point. But I think what Boise State did in the Fiesta Bowl certainly helps your cause, Carl. Congratulations on a great year for the WAC and for the great job that you do leading this conference.
Thank you very much.
It's Carl Benson. Third down and 1 for a first down. And they don't get the first down or the touchdown. They needed about 2 yards. Fourth down and 1. Polaris might have gotten the first down. Almost looked like he took for granted he was going in the end zone. You heard the crowd roar. They thought he was in, but it does look like he got the first down based on the spot. Jason Robinson prevented the touchdown.
Yeah, I think
he slows down.
Slowed down a little bit, and what a hit put on. And the Bronco defenders not quitting, but the initial hit put in by Robinson coming up and stopping the momentum. Polaris probably thought he was going to go in.
He was Cadillacing. He thought he was in. Robinson and Kyle Ging said no. Ryan Winterswijk there as well. They're going to measure. It's really just as well. They don't need any more points. And if they had scored, they'd have to kick off. Boise State wouldn't be able to come back had they scored, but they aren't going to be able to come back now either. And I would think Hawaii, out of respect for this great champion Boise State, will just take a knee. Greg McMackin loves June Jones. Coached here his first year with June in 1999. Left, went to the NFL when Texas Tech, and has come back. And he said, I want to stay with this great man, an outstanding coach, for as long as he'll have me.
If I'm Hawaii, I start working on that contract because he's built this program again.
The price to keep him just went up. And if they do get to a BCS bowl game, let's hope they spend some of the money on facilities here, because, folks, if you saw their practice field and their office buildings, you'd be amazed that they could have this kind of success with their facilities in, quite frankly, an embarrassing state of disrepair.
Boise was proud champions tonight. They fought hard.
Their regular season will end at 10-2. And their run of WAC championships will not